I'm so glad to be with you here again this week on my Facebook channel, and thanks for joining me on my YouTube channel if you're watching a replay. I have some artwork from the kids. This is from Nate, and I just found this one. It looks like it's some those little sponges with some stamp ink that he did in his class before the end of school year. Really fun, summery, watery types of little stamped items. So stamping starts even in preschool. Isn't that cool? So this was Nate. And I really am excited to share this. Trip made this. And I had put it in a very safe place. Code word for my family of I can't remember where I put it. But this is made, it looks like with a sponge, because I can see the little porous marks. And it's titled Baby Owls. And Trip made this. And it is so cute. I think I'm going to put this one in a frame. This is amazing. Isn't this the coolest? Hi, Sharon. It's really late where you are, I'm sure. Or you could say it's very early, right? I'm sorry that my video is long in coming. I had a doctor's appointment that was scheduled for today, and it's one that I could not miss. Absolutely couldn't. So isn't this cool? Trip made this. I absolutely love it. And I like the fact that it's a reverse, because Trip is very into being, he interprets things literally. And I think that's part of the autism that he has. He sees things literally. He doesn't have the imaginative, like if he colors an owl, he's not happy with it if it doesn't look like a real owl at the zoo or a real owl in a book. So he did a fabulous job with these. And I'm happy I remembered to share those. So I have some wonderful promotions to share with you before we get started on our project. And I do have some happy mail today too. Yay, happy mail. I have my July host code, which I have also put in the description of the video. There is also a link to my blog, jennyhalldesign.com. And you can go there and just click shop now, and you can get directly to my online store. If you do not have a demonstrator, I would absolutely love to work with you as your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and art teacher. So use this host code when shopping. I appreciate that very much. I'll show this again later, but it is in the video for reference. So I have some announcements to share too. I did share with you all that previously that I was working very diligently to earn the incentive trip from Stampin' Up. And this is the progress that I've made so far. I kind of recorded in different colors, and I have not gotten there yet. I'm still working really hard. Sharon says, hopefully after the video, you'll be sleepy enough to go. I'll use my video voice for you, Sharon, and that way you can very calmly drift off to sleep. How about that? I hope that works for you. But I'm working on progress. I need 160,000 flex points, and I am currently just below the 95,000 point mark. These do not represent the dollar amounts that we have sold as a demonstrator. It does not work that way. This is built up with a combination of members that join my team advancements, my sales, some promotions. There's lots of factors that go into the flex points. And I'm working very hard to try to continue. It's going to be at the end of September that this will be over and a new Stampin' Up! Year will begin. So If you feel like joining me in and helping to support me, there's a lot of different ways you can go about doing that. The first would be that you can purchase from my online store. And this is the web address, jennystampsup.com. If you click shop now, it'll take you directly to my Stampin' Up shop. That's why I always start from my blog and refer people from there. And you can purchase if you're a teacher or just if you're a parent and you use any kind of pens, any kind of cardstock paper, scissors, any kind of like a stationery type of item, then you can purchase that from my store. We sell the best paper and envelopes, in my opinion. I absolutely love our envelopes. There's lots of products that we carry at Stampin' Up that would be fitting into your normal routine. So if it's markers, then we carry markers. You can use highlighters for teachers, colored pens, colored pencils now too with our watercolor pencils. If you need any guidance, just let me know and I'm happy to help you be able to direct exactly how. And I very much want and appreciate your support. So thank you so much in that. So here's my progress. I'm trying to get closer, the closer I can get by the end of September. And in about another month or so, I'll share the progress that I'm making on my goals of achieving the incentive trip. And this is going to be for 2019, going to the Greek Isles. And it's an all expense paid vacation. I would really love to do it. It's been my goal for a couple of years. And I haven't gotten there yet, but I'm working really hard. Pardon me. I still am going on with my color club, and it's wonderful. This month we're working in a purple, and I'm not going to say which one, but color club is a wonderful way for you to be able to build up all of the new ink colors. Every month it's a stamp pad, an ink refill, and a cardstock pack that is in one particular color. And it's a very minimal cost. It is actually $17 or $19.75 per month plus tax and shipping. And this gets automatically billed to you. You sign up and I automatically take care of it for you. You get lots of wonderful ideas to use that color in the particular month, plus lots of bonus goodies along the way. So if you have a desire for joining Color Club, you can let me know by leaving me a message, or you can go over to my blog at jennystampsup.com and click on the sidebar where it says Color Club. Color Club is a lot of fun. We have some promotions that are running in July. July is a very busy month for the Stampin' Up world. We have a free color family incentive to join as a demonstrator. And the way that you would join is to choose a starter kit, which is kind of like a really good deal in itself. $99 allows you to pick out $125 worth of product, plus you get to get an entire ink collection for free. There's no shipping cost on the starter kit, none at all. And it gets shipped out from Stampin' Up really fast. I'm always astounded by how quickly the starter kits are sent out. So one of the color family would be the Brights collection, and you would get 10 stamp pads that are in that color, or you can choose the Neutrals collection, Regals, Subtles, or the entire in color collection, which would be these 10 ink colors here. And these are some beautiful colors. If you have been waiting to get the starter kit from Stampin' Up, this is a very good opportunity to be able to get some really nice ink colors in with some really nice products. So if you have any questions about that I can help you with, just leave me a comment or send me an email to jennystampsup@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to help you. And here's what it looks like for one entire collection held in the hand. Really cool. It's a great way to build up your ink colors. Another promotion running in July is the Designer Series paper sale. So you choose 3 Designer Series papers from this list, and you get to pick another one from the list for free. Isn't that cool? I really like some of the papers that are on here, like to a degree that it's not healthy. There's some beautiful papers. Animal Expedition is one of my favorites. It's just the coolest. It's so nice. Tropical Escape is this one right up here in the corner, and it is amazing. I'm seeing some beautiful projects with this, but I think probably my favorite is the Twinkle Twinkle Designer Series paper. And you've seen me make lots of projects with it, and here's one right here. This is a Twinkle Twinkle piece, and it's wonderful. So you can go to my online store. I know I keep repeating that. Go to my online store and select the 3 different Designer Series papers you like, and then when prompted, it'll let you pick your 4th one for free. So if you need any details about this, then contact me and let me know. I'll be happy to get it for you. We also have a brand new promotion. This is brand sparkling new. Paper Pumpkin. If you've been thinking about making a Paper Pumpkin subscription and trying it out, this is a great time. You can get 50% off your first month, and you have to use this promo code. It's Bloom0818, and this is for the August kit. You will need to sign up before August the 10th. August 10th is the deadline. So there's lots of information here. There is on my blog, jennyhalldesign.com, on the right-hand sidebar, there is a Paper Pumpkin icon. You can click on it and then just sign up with me as your demonstrator, and what you get is a wonderful kit every month that I can give you more information about if you're curious. And you also get a tutorial pack from me that's just for that particular kit. So I make 3 to 5 designs that are exclusive to that particular Paper Pumpkin kit that I share every single month. And you would be able to get that for free. So not only will you have Paper Pumpkin's instructions, you would have some ideas from me as well. And that's a $15 value. So you would be getting the kit for like $5. It's a very good deal. And it looks like this is going to be a sneak peek of what the kit is going to look like. And it's got some really pretty colors. We've got some pretty greens and purples. There's also another promotion that is about to start. Excuse me, it's starting. Hi, Fran. I'm so glad you could join. This is the Color Your Season promotion. Right now, demonstrators are able to order the Color Your Season products, and the general public will be able to order in August. So if you are interested in getting them early, then this is another reason why you should join and be a demonstrator. And you get to choose all of the products in advance before they go on sale to the general public. That's just one of the perks. I will be doing a very big tutorial pack on the Color Your Season bundle, which includes framelits, stamps, and then you can also choose to pick the watercolor pencils that are at an additional price. But this is not the same watercolor pencils that we already offer in the catalog. This is a brand new set with all new colors. So this is a much desired product. And these stitch dies are amazing. There's lots of dies in the package, but the stitch dies are really what's getting me excited to use them. So I'll be able to bring lots of ideas using Color Your Season products. And I will, if you purchase this in August from my online store with my August host code, then you will get a mega tutorial pack. And it could be up to 25 or 30 tutorials. There's going to be a lot. I'm joining up with other demonstrators, and we're all making a project to put into the tutorial package. And then we're going to combine them. And what we have is a mega pack of tutorial PDF for Color Your Season. So be on the lookout for that. And if you want to get your hands on this early, then you can add this to your starter kit and build up enough to get 125 worth of product and choose your free ink pads. It's a really great deal. So let's jump into Happy Mail. I've got some wonderful Happy Mail today. I have one here from my friend Betty, and she has done some beautiful coloring on this, and it's so sparkly. I'm just like always in awe whenever I get cards that are bright and shiny. They're just wonderful. And see how it sparkles? And her coloring is really pretty. I love it. And I like how she's put the tone-on-tone stamping too. Thank you, Betty. This is beautiful. And it has a sparkly envelope too. I'll show you the envelope. Gorgeous, huh? I love it. Now here's a card from Canada from my friend Marcy Dunning. And she's done some really pretty coloring on here too. And it looks like it might be, yes, it's Shimmery White cardstock, which is kind of a coincidence because we're going to be using Shimmery White cardstock on our project today. And this is the sequin embossing folder. And this is a host set that's in the catalog. And she did some really pretty coloring in this. And this was a birthday card. And look at the stamp. I love the stamp. I like the colors of the water. So pretty. International stamps are the coolest. Speaking of international stamps, here's one from Australia. And I actually just got this today. I don't know how long it took to get to me, but it looks like it was kind of sent around the crazy way. And they've got some tape on it. I don't know, but it came to me just fine. And this is from Tanya Tobin in Australia. We have a beautiful stamp here with Her Majesty the Queen. And I love it. So the envelope coordinates with the card. Isn't that cool? So this will be the size of a card that, we've got a special note in here from Tanya too. This will be the size of card that's different from the United States. And just in case you did or did not know, oh, I like it too, Fran. This is a different size. So the width of this card is 4 1/8. And the height is 5 7/8. And that is in contrast to the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 that we use standardly in the United States. So that's why the card looks a little bit more tall. Of course, it's done in centimeters, and so it will translate out just a little bit differently. But I love this gorgeous ombre look, Tanya. Wonderful, thank you. This is a beautiful card. And she's gotten a little wreath design here, which I'm a big fan of wreath designs. And she's written inside with my favorite color, blue. Great. I love it, Tanya. Thanks for thinking of me. I'm so excited. I'll have to read your note later. Literally, I just got it in from the mail as soon as I walked in the door. So it was right into it. I'm going to start grabbing the things. Today we're going to create a scrapbook page, which is not something that I've created on a live video. And it's not going to be a 12 by 12. Instead, I'm going to use the 6 by 8 style for a couple of reasons. Move some things around. So the 6 by 8 is going to fit right here in my camera much more easy. So you'll be able to see the entire project as I go. And not only that, I don't make as many small pages as I make big pages. I've got this album of 12 by 12 pages that it's beautiful. I love the 12 by 12, but I like the idea of a 6 by 8 as well. So this is a piece of Shimmery White cardstock. You can see it has got the little glittery bits on one side, and on the other side it does, but maybe not as much. So I think the little glittery bits are embedded into the paper, and it's a really thick cardstock, in case you haven't used glittery white cardstock, and it has, or shimmery white cardstock is the official name, and it takes watercolor. It takes it, not like, don't dump a bucket on it, but it will not work as regular Whisper White cardstock. It will help to absorb and allow you to move the color around before it soaks into the paper. So 6 by 8 is going to be the size that I'm going to create today. And I thought it would be a great opportunity to share some more ideas with the Memories and More card pack. And this is the delightfully detailed Memories and More card pack. So I had a few people ask me to do some more projects with the Memories and More, because they get them, they buy these cards, but they sit in the package because they're not sure exactly how to use them. So let's see if we can get a solution to that problem today. The first thing I do is I start flipping through the cards, and there are several different sizes in each pack. But I start flipping through to see what is going to work with my project. Because this is shimmery white, then I want to stay away from something that is brilliantly white. As you can see, the contrast between this shimmery white and the white of the card pack, because it is more of a vanilla color. Hi Tammy, I'm so glad you could stop in. You're in South Carolina, so it's probably really hot for you too. It's very hot here today. I like the purple tones, but I've got to stay away from anything that is straight up white, because it's going to conflict with, it's going to literally make me go crazy to see a white card on top of this vanilla, unless it's intentional. It'll just drive my brain crazy. So I found this inside the card pack, and this is a pretty little lace work. And I thought, well, this would make a good offset layer for my photograph. And the photograph that I'm going to be using is this one. And this is a printed out on my, this is printed on my regular copy, my little printer, my office printer, or whatever you want to call it, inkjet printer. This is my husband and I when we were first engaged, and we went to a lake and just kind of had a picnic there at the lake, and we're hanging out on the beach area of the lake that is here locally in New Jersey. So this was a really happy day, because we had just been engaged and we were starting to plan our wedding and plan our family. And on 7/11 is the day where my husband proposed to me. That's on July 11th, and we always celebrate every year, 7/11 we call it. And so I thought this would be fitting to make into a scrapbook page for, because I've never scrapbooked this photograph, and I have it in black and white too, but I thought it would be nice to play with the colors. I like how my husband's shirt kind of goes with the balmy blue. And because I'm not working in whites, I've got just a little bit of white here as a border for the, when I printed this out, it's got just a little bit of white around the edges, that it would work enough to offset. Oh, thanks, Sharon. I'm glad you like it. But first I've got to mat this photo. I've got to get it on something that's going to be sturdy enough to hold it in place. And I thought perhaps I would use some wood instead of some white, which I tend to just go straight for the white oftentimes, and I'm going to use something a little bit different this time. So I've got my Wood Textures Designer Series paper. I've got so many scraps of this because I love it so much. I don't throw any pieces away that are tiny. But I still have enough big pieces also that I can do something with. So I thought it would be fun to look through. This could work. possibly. We have to see what the brown tones are that are in the project already. Oh, this would also work. I'm not sure about that side, but this side might work out better. It would give more of a beachy look, and it wouldn't compete with the black of the lattice. This would compete a little bit too much. And then there's some rich warm tones here with this piece. I like this one. I think this will give me more of a clean look. It reminds me, it makes me think of IKEA. IKEA always has this sort of very clean look that I very much like. So let's go with it. So I think maybe just maybe 1/4 of an inch border would work out. So we'll trim this piece down. I'm not sure what the measurement of this photo is exactly, so I'm going to just get this the best that I can. So I'll go for 4 inches wide because it's an even number. And then kind of eyeball it to see that I'm getting an equal amount of space on each side. And that might turn out to be 3 inches. Nope. Let's go to 3 1/8. I think 3 1/8 will do it. So it's 4 by 3 1/8. Yeah, Fran, I know the IKEA furniture is that this color is amazing. And this is even a more rich color here. Okay, so I think snail adhesive will be the best way for me to secure my photo. I make so many card projects here with you that I thought it would be nice if we did a scrapbook page together. And that way, I always get so many questions about scrapbook pages that this would be a great opportunity to ask questions on the spot. There we go. So we have a little tiny bit of white around, and I'm okay with that not really competing against this vanilla tone here. So I plan to offset this photograph and have just enough. I think it's the same all the way around. Yeah, it's uniform. So I want to offset this here. And I don't know exactly how I'm going to be doing my journaling. We've got these beautiful stickers that come with the card pack. This says every moment matters, and I really like how it says this. But I'm not really crazy about the green. It's not going to go very well. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to create the blue and have the blue kind of come through and come out and spill around. And I'm going to use an aqua painter to do that. Make sure I've got this thing cleaned. It looks like the last color I used on it is blue too. So when watercoloring, I make sure that I've got some kind of a cloth. This is just a regular tissue. And I'm going to use, if I can find my journaling pen. It's being very stubborn. There we are. I'm going to use my journaling pen to make a couple of hallmarks on my underneath, just to make sure I know that I'm going to put the picture back up this way, and I'm going to get this offset just a little bit. So I'll kind of put a little mark here. That way we'll make sure that we know where the color is going to spill out. So what kind of sentiment to put on this? The one thing that I thought, I haven't demonstrated yet the lined alphabet stamp set. So I thought this would be a great opportunity to combine a couple of things. I'm always trying to work in multiples to help many different techniques at the same time. And this is a wonderful stamp set. So I thought it would be cool to spell out the word bliss. I think engage is going to make it'll be too big. But I'm going to spell bliss because I thought it would, is this a B? No, this is a D. That's the thing about looking at these stamps in reverse on the wrong side. Then it would be hard for me to be able to tell what they are. So has anyone used these wonderful stamps yet? I would love to hear how they're working for you. Okay, so I'm going to look here, and that's going to show me exactly what the letters are supposed to look like. So that was a B that I grabbed the first time. Yes, it's a B. So what I'm going to do is just put it directly on my paper, on my grid paper, so that I can line them up. I'm going to make sure that the bottom of the B touches the bottom little dotted line. And we'll get an L. I got this for half price, Fran. I wanted it as soon as I saw it because making scrapbook pages and things for the boys, I really like to use letters, and these are a great size. There is the large letters, and the large letters are wonderful, but they're all capitals, and they're just very blocky, squared off looking, and they're great for certain projects, but it's not something that I want to use for every project. So this definitely was in need. I'm very happy to be making with them, and I've used it several times. I made as I mentioned before, my Paper Pumpkin subscribers get my tutorials, and I also sell them too on my tutorials page at my blog. But I made a mini album out of last month's Paper Pumpkin kit, and I customized it to Nate's birthday. And Nate was 5 years old in May, and so I made him a cake, which was a complete disaster because the cake fell apart. But it's a wonderful story to remember because we had so much fun making the cake, and we had so much fun taking pictures of the cake and the cake falling apart. And this was a wonderful way for me to be able to spell out the word cake and crash and Nate and lots of things that I could fit into that mini album that I would not have otherwise been able to fit with those really large letters. This looks pretty straight to me. I'm going to pick them up with a block, just that simple. We could use Stamparatus for this also, but when working with this, I have found that it's just enough for me to be able to use it with this one long block here. So just to make sure that it looks good, I'm going to stamp it off on a scrap piece of grid paper. This is what happens to my grid paper that is soiled, that I get paint and ink on it. Then I cut it up into strips that I use. Sometimes it's a grocery list. Okay. And I only have one S, so obviously I'm going to have to stamp the S again after the fact. I want the B to be a little bit more close, and I do have a little bit of room to be able to do that. So I'm going to get it over here as close as I can. The photopolymer stamps are really, really sticky. Okay, so I'll try it again. So I'm going to stamp this. Right now I'm using Memento, but Memento is a water-based ink, so it's not going to dry very quickly on my Shimmery White paper. Here we go. That's much more evenly spaced. And then we'll restamp the S after the fact. But at least now we know what it's going to look like. So by placing them on the grid paper, I'm able to get them lined up first instead of scooching them around all over the block, which could be a disaster for me. Okay, so I'm going to stamp them with some archival ink, and we sell StazOn at Stampin' Up, but I have not used my StazOn in a long while, and I still have this archival stamp pad around, and I know that it works well, so I'm going to use that today. So it's no longer for sale, but we do offer StazOn. But I'm going to stamp in this just because this is going to add some watercolor added to it. Okay, so let me line up my paper, my scrapbook page, and try to line up these letters as best I can. And I'm going to leave room over here for that one other letter. Okay, that'll work. I had to enable myself, Tammy, so that I could get this stamp set in the dies, because the dies are like out of this world amazing. So I saved up enough of my orders that I needed to, supplies I needed to get, so that I could get that half price item. Demonstrators do also qualify for the half price items, and that's a wonderful way. It's another perk from Stampin' Up. Once your order reaches a certain dollar value, then you can choose a half price item. And this was already 10% off as a bundle. Plus I got my demonstrator discount of 25%. Plus I got half off on the item because it was 50% off. So how much better could that be? It was really affordable. And I'm just gonna add another S here. There we go. That didn't move around too much. So bliss is just an easy word that I could fit on here that kind of evoked the emotion from the photograph. And I'm going to give this a quick dry on low with my heat tool, just to make sure the ink dries completely before I start adding any water. I'm going to also add from the bottom to make sure that the paper doesn't warp on me. If you haven't stamped onto watercolor paper, then it's always a great idea to make absolutely sure that your stamping is dry, because even if you're using waterproof ink, then your stamping could disturb the ink, and then that's going to contradict what you're trying to do by stamping the lines nice and crisp, and then you've got a big puddly mess. So I'm going to push from the back side of my stamp pad towards the front with a really heavy pressure, and that's going to bring that stamp pad over so that I can get some on the lid of my stamp case. Thanks, Sharon. I'm glad you're liking this so far. Okay, so this is my idea, and I have not fleshed out this, and I don't usually try out anything beforehand. As you guys saw a couple of weeks ago, that card went in a totally different direction, didn't it? I'm going to have some of the watercoloring appear through this lattice work here. So I'm going not to add much water to begin with. Usually I'll do wet on wet. I'm just going to pick up some of this from the stamp pad lid. There's a generous amount of ink in my brush, and I'm going to squeeze the barrel of my aqua painter as I touch the brush to the paper. I'll start away from where I want it to end up. So as I squeeze it, then we can see that it comes out and it makes a puddle. And this is going to dry up exactly the same way. If I let it dry up this way, I can keep moving it around if I like. But if I had done wet, if I had already wet my paper, then I won't get this pooling effect. It would instead be spread out. And sometimes that's a great look. That's oftentimes something that I'm trying to achieve with my wet on wet watercolor. But this today is going to be just a bit different. Okay, so this is not going to show through. I need to create more puddles. Thanks for sharing, Anne. So here goes again. This is not wet on wet. And I'm going to kind of drag that color to where it makes these loose puddles, and the paper is starting to bow a little bit. So if I want to pull some of that fluid back over this direction, this is not going to show in the finished project. So I can kind of guide this to see what's going to show through this little piece here. So I want more of this dark color, and this is balmy blue. And we're going to see what it's going to look like. Yep, see, we've got the color that's coming from over here. I'll add some more deep tones to it here. See, this is what it looks like here. Once you add something darker, or you do the wet on wet technique, then it's going to give a totally different look. So I've got these beautiful little puddles, and I'll continue to make more. So I can just do squeeze and have a drop, have a couple of flicks. And because I've already got the color that's in my aqua painter, then it's going to come out in splatters when I do the flick motions. So I want one more big puddle coming over here. I'll kind of give myself a little bit of a guide. Okay, that's about what I'm looking for over here. Actually, I kind of like those lines. That would give me a little bit of a variation. I'm going to go with that. Isn't that cool how sometimes ideas just kind of develop on the fly? I'm going to squeeze the barrel. As it comes out. I'm not really crazy about the lines after all. So let's just add something else to it. See if we can get it to look like natural big ink splats. And I'm going to need to squeeze up some more of that ink. Sharon really likes the watercolor, the Shimmery White. I agree with you to a very strong point, Sharon. The watercolor paper sometimes has a tendency to peel back, and we want to be able to manipulate that paper over and over again. I mean, that's the whole wonderful asset of watercolor paper. But if we touch it and know that it's going to start peeling away and falling apart, then what's the point in using it? How are we benefiting our project by using it? And so that's one thing that I absolutely agree with you, that it's very, very much a different animal. Okay, so I'm going to just test this out here, see what it looks like. I want to get some splatters at the top of the page too. Kind of more splatters up here, I guess. Kind of splatterific. So I'm going to have that blue watery look kind of come out everywhere. I wanted to use the blue because it tied in with the photograph, but also because this photo was taken at a lake. So I thought this would be a great water, the water theme would work out really well. So I'm going to darken this up here. I really like this little funky blop over here to the side. I'm just going to try this again here to make sure that I'm getting enough area. I think I need to bring this one out a little bit more. So let's see, get an ink splat. Well, that one kind of went in the wrong place. There we go. If I hold it up much, much higher, and maybe I'll get one of those beautiful splashes. So I'm going up like a foot away. And I'm squeezing the barrel. Hey, there we go. That's the splashes I'm looking for. I'm so high up here with my brush. So now let's check it out. There we go. I think that'll work. Now I want to have some teeny tiny color pieces, just a little bit of intense color to kind of draw the eye down. Maybe a little bit more of those splatters on just the letters. And further down. Okay, so we're splashing in water today, aren't we, guys? Hi, spring. St. Louis is very hot, isn't it? My husband went to Concordia Seminary in St. Louis. So I'm going to just clean my brush off. I don't think I'll be able to get all this really beautiful blue off, so we'll come back to cleaning that another time. And add a little bit of the low setting of the heat tool. I can see where this will push around some of the colors, and that's okay. I don't want it to completely change the shape of the water droplets, though. I want it to dry back, and it can move a little bit, but this is the reason why the paper was dry when we started, because this is an opportunity for that pooling effect to happen. So I'll work on different areas. I don't want to over dry and warp my paper. And these are those beautiful little spots that we got by bringing the aqua painter up a foot away from the paper. So it not just dropped down, it's splashed. I'm going to pick this up so that I can move it around a little better. Get this color happening. I can see some purple tones. Can you guys see the purple tones in balmy blue? Okay, I moved it around a little bit too much. I don't want to dab up the paint. I do not want to do that. because if I do, it's going to take away from that color that's in that one central area. And that's not, I don't want the color to go away. I just want the fluid to come away. And one really great thing that's probably one of the easiest and best ways to do to get this look is to let your paper dry naturally. But because we're doing this as a video demonstration, then I do not have the luxury of having it dry naturally. I may have to even dab up some of it. So I'm going to warm the paper from the back side and hope that it is going to take away some of this. Make sure I'm not getting any warping. And yes, I think I'm going to have to dab some of these away. But that's okay, it'll just give a variation. It kind of has a bit of a bubble, hollow bubble look there. There we go. I like how it kind of looks like it's kind of bleeding out at the edges. Now this paper is still definitely very, very damp. You can see in certain areas. There we go. So ideally, I would like to have this dry naturally. So if you have the time, then it's a wonderful thing to be able to let your watercoloring just dry on its own. Okay, that's going to get us a good start with the dry. It's not completely dry, but that's all right. Now this is one color. This is one stamp pad, and that's Balmy Blue. And look how many, by diluting it, look how many different variations we're getting. The color separation. I can see some reds and purples in this. It's really, really a beautiful color. This is gonna quickly knock the gorgeous grape off the #1 chart list for me. And Granny Apple Green, I'm loving Granny Apple Green too, but I think that Balmy Blue is going to take the #1 spot. So let's work on getting the rest of the project together. I think this should be mounted on some Stampin' Dimensionals. So I've got some of the mini dimensionals here. In case you're just starting, please be sure to say hi. And if you want to say where you're from, then that would be great too. We are doing a 6x8 scrapbook page. And this is Shimmery White cardstock. And we have used the lined alphabet stamp set. And this is from Delightfully Detailed Memories and More card pack. That's the scrapbooking cards. We can use them in any way we like. That's the great thing about pre-printed paper, is we can choose to use it in a way that we want to, get ideas from it, all sorts of things. Okay, so I'm going to line up with some of these hallmarks that I gave earlier. This is why I put those little tick marks, to make sure that I'm able to get my my paper and my photograph right back in the spot that I wanted it, that I intended it to be. Okay, so I'm putting a little bit of liquid glue. I'm going to cover up that little black line just enough. Oh, that's gorgeous. Look at how the blue color is showing through. Now I'm going to straighten this page up before I really press on this and make sure that I'm trying to get it as straight as I can. Awesome. So Balmy Blue is one of the subtles. It's in the subtle color family. So if you choose to take that promotion and get your starter kit, and then you'll have the free stamp pad family color, then this is in the subtles if you like this color. And this is on dimensional, so it's just going to go directly onto the Shimmery White cardstock. And is it straight? That's the big question. I reckon that it is straight enough. What do you guys think? Now for the journaling, there's lots of different ways that can be done. What about some sequins? You guys fancy a few sequins here? I think I might try some sequins. Oh, thanks, Sharon. Let's see what we've got. There are some pearls that I have on hand. Pearls could work. I have these little beauties. This is the clear faceted gems. And we have these wonderful adhesive backed. You guys probably knew I was going to go to these adhesive backed sequins, huh? It seems like they pop up in most of my projects nowadays. I think that's what we'll go with. So I can use my paper piercing tool to just slide this little sequin off. That way the adhesive stays attached to the sequin and it doesn't come off. Then I'll add this where it looks like it's part of the design. Chase those little boogers around. So it's going to bring some sparkle, but it's not going to add too much dimension. There we go. Maybe put another one up here to cover up that little bitty black tick mark that I made with my journaling pen. So speaking of journaling, there's lots of different ways that we can complete, and I can handwrite. Sometimes I'm not always the most happy with my handwriting. So sometimes I'll go use a Memories and More card. There's lots of cards here that have a grid mark on them, and the grid is perfect for using, like, even just a couple of, cut it down to a couple of lines. But the white does not go with this Shimmery White cardstock. It does not. It just straight up does not go. So that's when I would probably use something, or I would go to my printer and just print out, like with Microsoft Word or something like that, and cut it apart with my scissors and then glue the words down. But I think I'm going to go with my handwriting today. It's not always the best, but I'm going to try. So I'm going to record the date of this as 7/11. Now, where should I do that? Maybe down here. See if I can get this to flatten out. 7/11. And that would be 2009, I think. Yes. See, this is why I don't do it by hand so much. I try to do it on the computer, or that way it can plan out. So this was the photograph that my husband and I used for our engagement announcement, and we were engaged. He asked me to marry him on July the 11th of 2009. So this was our whole engagement thing, and this was the photograph was taken at a lake that was here local to New Jersey, not the shore, but it was a lake, and it was like a man-made lake, and there was a beachy area here. I thought about bringing some of the green tones into the project too. Yeah, Tammy, the Shimmery White paper is, the watercolor paper that Stampin' Up! Carries is not this size. And this is a 6x8. And 6x8 is like, there's like two standards with your scrapbook pages. You've got 12x12, which is, significantly big. My grid paper only goes up to 10 inches. So it would literally, my project would be out to here. And I didn't want to do that for a video demonstration where you wouldn't be able to see the entire piece that I'm working on. And Shimmery White cardstock holds water really well. So we can see the peek through on this Memories and More card pack pick. This is Wood Textures Designer Series paper that is framing the photograph, and the photograph was just printed out on my inkjet printer. I've got an actual Walgreens photograph around here somewhere, but I just needed to grab something really quickly. And I'm not sure if I'll add some more journaling on here or not, but I know what the significance is of 7-Eleven, and I know my husband will as well. But I do need to document more of it for, like for my kids. Whenever I'm not around anymore, then if my kids have these scrapbook pages to draw from, then they'll know exactly what the intention was for this. So that's my project for today. This is going to probably be on my blog on Sunday. I do have a card that I can share with you that's on my blog today. Today I am the guest designer at the Inspire Create Challenge, and I created this card here. This is the delightfully detailed laser cut paper. I know it's a mouthful. They've got a color challenge going on this time at Inspire Create Challenges. I think the address is inspirecreatechallenges.blogspot.com. And this is powder pink, shaded spruce, and coastal cabana. And I used a sponge dauber, well, 3 sponge daubers to be precise, and isolated the coloring just in certain portions of it. This paper is really delicate and thin, as you can see how easy it moves. And so adding color to it can be a little bit of a challenge, although I was very careful and made sure that I went straight up and down and didn't drag my sponge dauber around, and it worked out very well. And these are some pearls that I added just as an accent to these beautiful, nice. Oh, thank you, Anne. I see patterns wherever I look. I think my brain just works that way. I'm not a very mathematical person, but I do see patterns in things all over the place, and that inspires me in my design. And when I was working on cutting a little piece away from the big 12 by 12 laser cut sheet, I saw circles of different pieces emerge. And so I knew that I could come in at some point and cut away all the other things that were touching this so that I could create it into a circle or a portion of a wreath. And the inside of the card has another little piece of it that is just the coastal cabana. So this is probably the piece that I had to cut away from this area or something. And I colored it with the coastal cabana. So it was really easy to create. It was a lot of fun, and I am so appreciative that Inspire Create Challenges asked me to be their guest designer for this challenge. I'm very thrilled and very honored. They're a very talented bunch of crafters. So if you're looking for a card making challenge, go over there. Google it, Inspire Create Challenges, and they put up the most amazing card making challenges. They're wonderful to participate in. Well, thank you all so much. I think I've just about shared everything for you this week. I will make sure that I go back and check your comments after the video. Don't be discouraged that you didn't catch it live. Please go in and comment, and next week I will be right back here on my Facebook page at 10:30. Hopefully I will not have to postpone it again. 10:30 Eastern, United States Eastern Time. And I look forward to seeing you then. Until then, I have some wonderful projects that are coming out between now and next Wednesday. Some fancy fold cards for adding to designs that you're going to absolutely love. That double Z fold box card. I have one coming out on Saturday. On Sunday, I have another blog hop, and it's a scrapbooking blog hop, and I think I just might put this in it, and you're going to have lots of inspiration for other pages as well. So thanks again today. I'm so happy to get to spend the time with you, And I look forward to seeing you again next week. Until then, if you need me, you know how to get me. Have a great day.
Hi, my name is Trip. Thanks for watching the video. See you next time.